Have you ever witnessed a single act of bravery change everything? Maya, are you trying to kill my child?
Edward Langford's voice thundered across the bustling riverside patio, sharp enough to cut through the clinking of glasses and murmurs of the dinner crowd. His face was pale but twisted in fury, eyes burning with suspicion as he stared down at Maya William, the 29-year-old black waitress who had just pulled two frantic children from the river's edge.
Mia's heart hammered fiercely in her chest.
She had risked everything, her safety, her dignity to save Edward's twin sons, Elliot and Evan. Yet here he was, accusing her as if she were the villain, as if her courage was some calculated act of malice.
I saved them, Mia stammered, her voice trembling.
They slipped. I pulled them out before anything worse happened. Edward took a step forward, his hand suddenly shoving her back. Ma stumbled dangerously close to the riverbank's edge, her breath catching as the water lapped mere inches away.
You think this was an accident? He spat, venom dripping from every word. I know you're kind, always scheming, looking for a payout.
A quick settlement for some so-called accident you caused.
You're nothing but a low-class, good-for-nothing typical black trash trying to scam me.
Maya's eyes widened in shock, pain behind them.
The crowd around them murmured uneasily, some averting their eyes, others frozen in disbelief.
Edward, please. A voice tried to intervene, but he raised a hand, silencing them. You'll regret this, Edward growled, voice low, but full of menace. I'll see you in court for attempted murder if that's what it takes.
What if the truth could turn the tide? If you feel connected to Mia's story, please like this video and comment where you are watching from.
You might find others nearby watching, too.
Maya shook her head, tears threatening to spill. I don't want trouble. Look at the cameras.
She reached for her phone and pulled up the footage from the restaurant's security system. The screen showing the boys' playful antics before the slip and her desperate rescue. Edward's face twisted into a sneer as he waved the phone away. Don't waste my time with that trash, he spat.
This is just a waste of my day watching a dirty little servant's story. Then without warning, he raised his hand as if to strike Maya again.
But before his hand came down, two small voices interrupted him, weak but determined.
Daddy, stop. Elliot's voice cracked. Maya didn't try to hurt us. She saved us. Yeah, Daddy, Evan added. His eyes wide in earnest. She pulled us out of the water when we fell. We're okay because of Maya. Edward's raised hand froze midair.
His eyes darted between his sons and Maya, the anger draining from his face.
A deep shame settled in as the truth became undeniable. He lowered his hand slowly, stepping back.
Just as he was about to speak, Elliot's voice caught his attention again.
Wait, Daddy, Elliot said, looking up at him. We almost fell because the wind blew our napkin near the river.
Maya was watching us, and she acted fast. Edward furrowed his brow.
Is that true? He asked quietly. Evan nodded. Yes, Daddy.
She saved us because she cared. The crowd around them began to murmur, the tension breaking as people realized the truth.
Edward looked at Maya, voice softening, strained with remorse. Maya, I am sorry. I shouldn't have said those things or acted like that. A few people nearby clapped softly, some nodding in admiration. One elderly woman whispered, She's a true hero, huh? Maya blinked, still shaken, but silently accepting the apology. The river's breeze whispered softly, carrying away the rage and leaving behind a fragile hope.
A hope that justice might come, not just from power and wealth, but from truth and courage.
The crowd began to disperse slowly, the tension easing as the reality of the moment settled in.
Maya stood quietly by the riverbank, her breath still ragged from the struggle, her skin slick with sweat and river water. Her hands trembled slightly, though her face held a calm that belied the storm of emotions inside her. Around her, whispers of admiration floated through the air, mixing with the soft rustle of leaves and the gentle lap of the river against the stones. She glanced toward the twins, Elliot and Evan, who were now sitting wrapped in warm blankets. Their faces flushed from the cold, but eyes bright with life. They clung to each other. A picture of innocence recovered from the brink of disaster. Mia's gaze softened as she watched them, feeling an unexpected surge of protectiveness that went beyond the boundaries of her role as a waitress. As the last of the guests resumed their seats, Edward Langford lingered nearby, a complex expression shadowing his features. His earlier fury had given way to a visible fatigue, a man grappling with guilt and the fragile humanity beneath the armor of wealth and power. He approached Maya cautiously, his steps hesitant but deliberate. "Maya," he began, voice low and unsteady. "I owe you more than words can express. You saved my sons. I was wrong to accuse you." Maya met his eyes, searching for sincerity in the depths of his gaze. "I did what anyone would do, Mr. Langford," she replied quietly. "I just wanted to keep them safe." Edward nodded, then gestured toward the restaurant. "Please come inside. Let me make sure you're all right. You must be exhausted." Reluctantly, Maya allowed herself to be led back into the waterfront grill where the warmth of the interior contrasted sharply with the chill lingering on her skin. The soft hum of conversation resumed around them, but Mia felt the weight of every glance. Some filled with respect, others tinged with disbelief at the unlikely heroine in their midst. Seated at a quiet corner table, Edward offered Maya a glass of water, his fingers briefly brushing against hers, a tentative gesture of gratitude. For a moment, the vast gulf between their worlds seemed to narrow. As Maya sipped the water, she found herself reflecting on the events of the day. Her thoughts drifted back to her childhood in a small neighborhood miles from this riverside haven. The sacrifices her mother had made, the long hours spent juggling multiple jobs, and the unyielding determination to give Maya and her brother a chance at something better. It was a past filled with struggle, but also with lessons of resilience and dignity. "Tell me about your family," Edward said gently, breaking the silence. Mia smiled faintly. "My mother and brother live a few blocks from where I grew up. My mother's a nurse, and my brother's a student." Edward listened intently, a flicker of respect crossing his face. "You've built something strong from that," he said. "And today, you showed incredible strength." Maya nodded, her voice soft. "It's what I learned from them." The days that followed were a quiet turning point. Word of the incident spread through the riverside community, carried by whispers and shared glances. Some saw Maya as a symbol of courage, others as a reminder of the divides that still lingered. Brought to you by BUP Stories, stay tuned for more inspiring tales. Edward, meanwhile, began to reach out, offering to cover medical checks for the twins and a small gesture of compensation for Maya. Yet, the encounter left an indelible mark on him, prompting a deeper reflection on his own actions and the privilege he wielded. One afternoon, as Maya served tables at the grill, a familiar figure approached. It was Edward, this time alone, his demeanor markedly different. "Maya," he said, voice steady but humble. "I've been thinking about what happened. I want to do more than just apologize. I'd like to support a community program, something to honor what you did." Maya paused, surprised by the offer. "What kind of program?" she asked cautiously. "A scholarship fund," Edward replied. "For kids from backgrounds like yours, to give them opportunities one took for granted." Mia considered his words, the weight of his proposal settling in. "I'd be willing to help," she said finally. "But it has to be real change, not just a gesture." Edward nodded. "I understand. Let's make it together." And so, from the ripples of that day by the river, a new chapter began to unfold. Maya and Edward collaborated on the Langford Williams Scholarship Fund, an initiative aimed at supporting education and empowerment in underserved communities. The first meeting was held in the Waterfront Grill's backroom, a modest space filled with community leaders, educators, and parents. Maya stood at the front, her voice clear and resolute as she outlined the vision. "This isn't about one day," she said. "It's about building a future where every child has a chance." The room buzzed with agreement, a collective commitment taking root.